Wyman, I'm sitting with Paul Wyman. Jessica, I'm sitting with Paul Wyman. Beside Paul
Okay, it's
Wyman.
5 o'clock. I would like to call this February 8th, 2022 Planning Commission meeting to order.
Looks familiar.
I would ask that you silence cell phones or any other devices that you might have so not to disrupt the meeting. Anyone wishing to address the board, please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. The first thing on the agenda tonight is approval of minutes from January the 11th.
Move to approve. Second.
Any questions, comments, or concerns on the minutes? Hearing none, I'll call for approval of the minutes. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The minutes are approved. Director Sheehan.
Yeah, first case tonight, Mr. President, is case P03-Z-22, petition of Martin Wrecker Service, Inc., requesting the Kokomo City Plan Commission petition and recommend to the Kokomo Common Council for change in zone classification from R4 to C2. And this is located at 1230 and 1232 East Sycamore Street.
Move for approval. Second.
Is there someone here to present that case, this case? Please step forward.
My name's Kenny Carter.
Give us a brief summary of what we're doing here.
I'm wanting to build my storage lot bigger, so I need to rezone them too, so I can do that.
Is this lot adjacent to the lot you have now?
Yes, it is.
Is there any questions from the board before we have staff report? Director Sheehan.
Staff report for case P03-C-22, Martin Wrecker Service, Inc., requested to change the zone classification for the property specified above to be used as a storage lot. The adjoining property uses and zonings are to the north, R4 urban residential, to the south, IS institutional, to the east, C2, medium to large-scale general commercial, and to the west, R4 urban residential. According to the City of Kokomo zoning ordinance, C2 medium to large-scale general commercial is not an appropriate adjacent district within the area. However, Martin's Wrecker Service has been in business for several years at this location, and one of the adjacent properties is currently zoned C2 as well. According to the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map, this property is located in an area designed for low-density residential, which is described as being single-family housing below a density of 3 units per acre. Typical low-density housing would be single-family detached homes. This property is not located within the overlay districts. Land use goals to encourage orderly and responsible development to promote health, safety, and quality of life of residents in the City of Kokomo while maintaining Kokomo as a leading community for affordable housing. Relevant land use objectives are to encourage adequate land for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. Designate specific districts in the community suitable for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. The goal of the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Transportation Map is to enhance connections throughout the city for improved safety, function, and efficiency for all modes of transportation, including vehicular, bicycle, and pedestrian networks. According to the transportation map, this area of East Sycamore Street is defined as a minor arterial, which is a street that collects and distributes traffic to and from collectors and primary arterial streets. The traffic count for this area is 5,044 cars per day between East Sycamore and US 31. The requested zoning change is not compatible with all surrounding zoning. Therefore, the staff desires that the board forward their own recommendation to the Kokomo Common Council based on the information presented by the petitioner. I just want to give an update. There is one zoning district that is not compatible. However, as the staff report does recommend, Martin Wrecker Service has been in that area for several years. This is a way for us to get those residential properties, make them legal, and get some fencing put up around those properties. So,
Any questions from the board now that we've had staff report?
And so, with that being said, you are going to install new fencing all
Yes.
along that property line
Right.
with some invisible barrier?
Yeah, it's just gonna be an invisible barrier. It's gonna be metal down it instead of your normal chain link.
You can do some lacing or something on the metal. Is that what you're planning on doing?
No, I'm probably just gonna go solid metal down it, painted.
Solid painted metal?
Yeah.
How tall is that going to be?
It has to be 8 foot tall, just to be legal with the city.
actually, it's 6 foot.
Is it 6? Well, 6 plus 3 barbed wires on top.
No barbed wire. There's no barbed wire allowed in the City of Kokomo.
Okay,
Just 6 foot fence is what you can have, Kenny.
okay,
Okay?
all right.
Would there be a problem with 8 on
He can get a variance, he can ask for a variance through the Board of Zoning Appeals if he'd like to do that. That's an option, yes.
To keep it invincible from the road and keep it from being a common nuisance to neighbors.
Yeah, I mean, we're already up against the road with fence anyways. We've stored cars there from 77, so we're still already being seen from the road.
I know.
Any other questions from the board?
Is there a problem with moving current vehicles? Is that why you're looking to?
Yeah,
expand,
I
or-
mean, the state changed in July some regulations, so we can't move them in and out as quick as what we were. It takes anywhere from 3 to 6 months to move them now. We used to be able to move them in a month. So it's causing a big backlog on us. I'm running right now probably 90% full. A bad snow day pushes me out the gates.
Yeah.
And we're growing. When I bought the business, we had 6 trucks. Now we're up to 22 trucks. So we're growing quickly.
How many vehicles can you store now?
Right now, I can hold almost 300 vehicles. This will actually be able to get us up to right around 500 vehicles. We tow a lot of vehicles in every day.
Any other questions from the board? Any questions from the audience?
There should be. Are you going to install any greenery or any plantings?
I've already
along
got
the
some.
fence line? Yeah.
I'm not going to fence it all. I'm only going to fence 175 feet of it, and that's going to leave 100 feet out in front of it. It's all going to be greenery.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? No questions from the audience? Hearing no questions, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of case P03Z22, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. It now goes to the city council and will be presented there by Councilman Matt Greek.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Director Sheila.
In this case, Mr. President, case P04-Z-22, petition of Greater Kokomo Economic Development Alliance requesting the Kokomo City Plan Commission petitioner recommended the Kokomo Common Council for a change in zone classification from R1 to HI, High Intensity Industrial Heavy Manufacturing. This is 219 East 300 North.
Move for approval?
Thank you. I'm Charlie Sparks with the Greater Kokomo Economic Development Alliance. The Alliance has been working closely with both the city and the county for the past couple of years on the development of a new industrial park for the community. And we chose this particular area because the area is already industrial in character and it has excellent transportation access. We really see a need for this in the community. If we're going to compete for economic development opportunities, we need to have market-ready sites, and that's what this project will accomplish for us. And with that, then we're in a position to compete for new investment, new jobs, economic growth, and economic diversification for the community. We know that the corporate site selection process is really a process of elimination, where companies start out with a pretty broad geography and then narrow it down to find the community that fits best for them. But the fact is, without a market-ready site, without an industrial park, that community has eliminated itself from the competition. So we have the chance to change that with the purchase of this land and rezoning, and we'd appreciate your support.
Any questions from the board before we have staff report?
Can we have your address for the record?
700 East Furman.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Director Sheila.
Staff report for case P04-C-22. Charlie Sparks of the Greater Kokomo Economic Development Alliance has requested a change in zone classification for the property specified above. This property will be used as an industrial park. The rezoning question is compatible with all adjacent zoning districts except for the property zoned R1. The property uses are to the north agricultural, to the south low-intensity industrial business park, to the east very low-density residential, and to the west HI high-intensity and C2 high-intensity industrial manufacturing and medium to large-scale general commercial. According to the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map, the property is located in an area designed for office, high-tech, and light industrial. This is an area designed for employment centers that utilize medium to large-scale buildings with medium to large-scale parking lots. Also, these facilities have low traffic, environmental, and aesthetic impact on surrounding areas. Land use goals to encourage orderly and responsible development, to promote health, safety, and quality of life of residents in the city of Kokomo while maintaining Kokomo as a leading community for affordable housing. Relevant land use objectives are to encourage adequate land for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. Designate specific districts in the community suitable for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. The goal of the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Transportation Map is to enhance connections throughout the city to improve safety, function, and efficiency for all modes of transportation, including vehicular, bicycle, and pedestrian networks. According to the transportation map, this area of East 300 North is defined as a minor arterial, which is a street that collects and distributes traffic to and from collector and primary arterial streets. The traffic count for this area is 419 cars per day. The closest count is located at the intersection of Smith Road and 100 East. The staff desires that the board put forward a favorable recommendation to the Kokomo Common Council.
Any questions from the board now that we've had staff report?
Yes.
Any questions from the audience?
Yes.
Please come forward.
Thank you.
Dave Willis, president of Local 1166. Our hall is in this area. My question is pretty
Can you
basic.
give me the address of that too, please?
2761 50 East,
Okay, thank you.
Old Cassville Road. Is there any variances on the ownership of that property with the enhanced, with the zone changes? Will there be any problems occurred by my local for the ownership of that property? I don't understand all of it. I'm just asking the basic questions that my local was asking me. Will there be any tax structure difference? Will there be, I'm just asking what this variance includes.
So this is a rezoning.
This is a rezoning, it's not a
Right.
variance.
Or
Sorry.
rezone, I'm sorry.
No, go
Wrong
right ahead,
language.
So it's gonna be rezoned to high industrial so that it can be developed as a parcel, but, as it's developed, there's not any, as Mr. Sparks alluded to, any actual structures being built on the property at the time. So it's basically an investment property to attract other businesses. This is just simply to get it ready so that we can, or the city and the Alliance can develop it further.
That's what
Does that
we
answer your question?
didn't, pretty much.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Paul Wyman, 211 Sandy Court, Kokomo, Indiana. And just like to take this opportunity to ask for your support this evening for this project that has been an incredible partnership between the city, the county, and the Economic Development Alliance. And, you know, as we look in the future, we often talk about diversification, you know, from the automobile industry. And this type of project gives us that opportunity to get diversification. But at the same time, it also gives us the opportunity to support one of our largest employers like Stellantis, who may have some opportunity to bring some folks in, some suppliers or whatever the case may be. So it really is a great two-tracked opportunity for us in our community, and we just ask that you give it support tonight. Thank you.
I would also assume that the connectivity to the new 31 bypass is a big plus for this property as well.
Any other questions from the audience?
I just want to make sure, by the way, my name's Anthony Carter, 1125 Deadberry Drive. Is this case P04Z22?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so I received this letter, and I just want to get, and I appreciate you presenting the information so I can be more informed about what's going on in my area. So we are investing, well, we're changing the zone, okay, for industrial park. Obviously, that's the type of development that we're doing here. And I heard Stellantis. And they have quite a bit of property here in Kokomo. And so I'm assuming on the, I guess the east side, they have ITP 1 and ITP 2, and so they want to rezone the property on the west side.
So Stellantis isn't part of this development.
Well, he mentioned that.
He mentioned it and asked.
Opportunity.
there'd be an opportunity to attract other potential businesses based on its proximity to not only 31, but if a supplier would want to come in to be next to Stellantis, it's an opportune place to develop if somebody would want to come in, but it's gonna be owned by the Alliance.
Okay, thank you for the
Does
clarification.
that answer your question?
To a degree, I appreciate it.
Sure.
So, from where I am to where I live, I know there's some residential areas in there, so we're declassifying. I guess my question is, do they need the land that we're living on, or are they going to build this park near our residential area?
Well, if you were not contacted, then obviously your land is not a part of this.
When you say contacted, what do you mean?
Well, if by the city, when they bought this property, I'm not exactly sure where you live, but.
1125 Danbury Drive.
Yeah, my assumption is that your house is not part of this project.
Okay.
And one of the reasons that Stellantis has been mentioned also is because both Stellantis plants are already zoned high-intensity industrial, which is what the industrial park is going to be rezoned to, which makes it a perfect fit for what's already up there.
You want to tell them who gets letters?
Yeah, and the reason you received the letter, sir, is because you're an adjoining property owner, obviously. In state statute, we have to send out letters to any adjoining property owners just to make you aware of the project. That's why you received the letter.
Okay, so Stellantis sits on the west side of 31. If I got my directions together, I know where they sit, those two plants. I live on the other side. Is that where they're talking about zoning that area? Because I see all these numbers and some stakes, so I don't have any graphs or dimensions to determine that.
If you want to come up there, sir, they can show it to you.
Right here is what you're looking at. So TJ's got it pulled up right here.
Have an opportunity to see this as well?
If they want to, right here in this Cheyenne colored area, that's your property. What they're talking about rezoning, if we zoom out, is that property.
So you're on the west side
So
of
you-
931, correct?
Yeah, I sit right there on the, right there.
Yeah, the
You see my home?
Yep.
KEP and ITP1 are both right up here. They're talking about rezoning this for a potential buyer. It's not,
So it's across the street?
it's across the street from you.
Okay, so that's why the.
They're not taking your property.
Okay, got you. Okay, that's why. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, so that's why
Absolutely fine.
that's why the Union Hall was asking those questions, because that's where it
Because
sits.
it's on there, yes.
Interesting. Okay, so the zoning is to let the residents know that, hey, listen, so we're rezoning this
Something may
area,
change.
and it may change, so, and then the idea of maybe possibly industrial park to help the economy and jobs and things of that nature. Okay. I'm
Yes, sir.
clear. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the audience?
How does it impact neighborhoods?
Nope.
You have to come up to the microphone.
I need your
sir, if
name.
you'd like.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Jack, and we live at 2219 North 100 East. So we are the closest residential property to this site. There is a small parcel of farmland between the 3 acres that my husband and I own and this site. We did not, however, receive any notice of this, which is a little bit concerning. I do want to say that I am in favor of development. In general, I think this is great. I'm northeast part of the county. I just please would ask that you keep the neighbors in communication as you go along with this, because I hear you saying it's an industrial area and this fits. That's not the case. Us residents on 100 East do not believe this is an industrial area whatsoever. There are a handful of houses there on 100 East. There's only 3 houses on the west side of 100 East in that mile-long stretch of road there. I have 2 small children. I'm concerned about traffic. I'm concerned about increased trash, noise pollution, light pollution, all of the things that are the opposite of the reason why we moved out there. Our side of the road, those 3 residences were annexed into the city. This really, in my opinion, is a county area and not why I purchased 3 acres to live next door to an industrial park. Again, I'm not against it, But please partner with the people who live in that area and let us be a part of the process as we go along so that we can live harmoniously with this industrial park in my backyard. Concerned about, obviously, residential home values. It's concerning to the people who live on that road, and there are others here, and I'm sure they'll share their thoughts as well. But thank
Obviously,
you.
as we move forward, there'll be more public hearings.
And I'll be here.
And Bill, yep.
Thank you.
That was your question. We good? Any other questions from the audience? Any questions from the board? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of case P04Z22, please signify by saying aye. Aye. The motion carries and now goes to the city council and will be presented there by Councilman Matt Grecu. Director Sheila.
Next case is case P01-P-22, petition of Sean Downey, Arbor Homes requesting approval of primary plat for Webster Crossing. This is at Zartman Road and Sandwalk Drive.
Move for approval.
Good evening, thank you. My name is Sean Downey. I'm a project engineer with Arbor Homes, office located at 9225 Harrison Park Court, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46216. Before I get started in describing the project, I have some hard copies of the primary plat for any members that may want one.
Please.
So,
Thank you. We can just pass them down if you'd like. Thank you.
As it was stated, the petition before you is for the review and approval of a primary plat to be known as Webster Crossing East. As many of you may recall, this was a piece of ground approved before you last fall to an R3 zoning classification. The project calls for 69 single-family homes on 22 acres. Along with our residential development, the project will also contain the construction and extension of Zartman Road from the east edge of Webster Crossing out to Webster Street. There's already dedicated right-of-way out near Webster Street, and we are currently coordinating with the Woodland Church folks for right-of-way on what would be their half of that road. With that road extension, we also have connectivity to the south, to the Briarwick Drive, where there's dedicated right-of-way there as well, coming through the apartment complex. We have been before the Plan Commission's Technical Review Committee a couple weeks ago. Very minimal comments there that we've all addressed. So with that, I'd open it up to any questions.
Any questions from the board? Everything good from Plat?
Everything I needed to see, they gave me the document for Briarwick Drive, which it is public right away, so my main concern is making that connection. Everything else is pretty in good shape for primary plat.
Any questions from the audience?
I'm Linda Van Natter, and I'm speaking for my dad, Howard Richmond.
Address, please.
He lives at 3509 South Webster Street. And these homes are going to back up to his backyard. And when we were here last time at the meetings, other people that were here talked about easements, that there's 2 easements, and I'm wondering if you have checked on the easements first off.
Yes, there's an existing 25-foot sanitary easement. There's a large 30-inch sanitary sewer main that's on our property, so that easement will stay in place. It will fall on the rears of our future lots, so we don't intend to vacate that easement. Obviously, that sewer is existing,
Okay,
so it will remain.
So the people that are going to be building their home that's going to back up to my dad's. Their property is gonna stop how many feet from his backyard?
Well, where his property line is, their property line would go to that. And then the existing easement would fall entirely on those new residents. So there's
Okay,
no
so if-
moving of the easement, nothing that impacts.
So if anything gets dug up, then it's gonna be on their property.
Correct.
You can't build across the easement anyway, so.
Right,
Correct.
I'm aware of that.
Yeah, and I can tell you with it being that big of a sewer that's very deep, we're doing our best not to get anywhere near that sewer in the rears of those homes.
Okay. My next question is, I know this is the city of Kokomo, and my dad is in the city, but these kids, 69 homes, are going to go to Webster. Have either of you checked with Western to see if the school corporation is going to be able to accommodate? First off, with 69 homes, if you figure 2 kids per home, some aren't gonna have kids, but you're talking maybe 120 kids, you're talking 3 additional buses. We have problems getting bus drivers now. We had 5 drivers out here recently, and we're scrambling, trying to find anybody that can drive, that has a CDL license and everything. Plus, the buildings are just